We are all going to die.
Why are there so many humans here? There are many humans in this room. Far too many. I don't know about you, Dalek, or not, but we should clear out some. We should exterminate them! Exterminate! I don't think they are supposed to giggle after they have been exterminated.
Now this does take a second, so bear with me.
It takes a while to disgorge the mutant.
Yes, he does dance.
And no comments about how he is coming out of the rear end. That is not funny.
If anyone has ever wondered what a Dalek actually poos,
It poos
it's me! Getting in and out of these can be a little tricky at times, and unfortunately, I burned through 3 voice mods this weekend. I have the electric chair in Dreadnought is a 24-volt system, and I have a step-down transformer, 24 down to 12, to run the rest of his lights. He has 1,500 lights, and he's running a 600-watt sound system, as well as all the motors inside to move the head, the eye stalk, everything else. So in that, the converter shorted and fried 3 of the voice mods before I actually caught it. So unfortunately, it's been a little expensive this weekend, but that's why you didn't hear me yakking. So Clinton's been doing most of my talking. So this is Dalek Building 101. This is what we do is we come in and we do a few things here. We're going to play with these guys for a few minutes. And, you know, these are very hot to be in, so we're going to make them suffer.
We have air conditioning.
You have a fan, it doesn't work so well. So in that, after that, we're going to just maybe share a couple of stories. We do have a few that are pretty interesting. Building a Dalek is not that hard. You don't have to be an expert in anything. There is a website that will help you with every step of the way. What materials to use and your choices in which to use it. So if we look at, and I'll introduce them, over here on my left, your right, is Dalek Souffle.
Greetings, humans!
A little more into your mic, Souffle.
Greetings, humans!
Dalek Souffle is the 60s, the original series. That's the base design. It's a Shotcraft 3. Shotcraft is the place that manufactured the first series of Daleks. They went through version 1, 2, and 3. And in every episode of Doctor Who, look close. The Daleks don't look the greatest if you really look close to today's high-definition TV. Back in the 60s and 70s, the TVs were so fuzzy you'd never notice the difference anyways. But today, we tend to, as builders, to make them a whole lot prettier. But they are still made very similar. Souffle here is an exact copy from the 60s. So when we look at the base is wood or MDF, plywood typically. The skirt is made of MDF as well, 3 millimeter thick. It's very thin. You can actually cut it with a utility knife. The hemispheres, which are the same on all three, and the skirts are pretty much the same on these two. The hemispheres are made from Christmas decoration balls. You're cheap. I like it. On Souffle, we also have her belts is Formica. Now, in this series, they never had slats on their belts. And shortly after this one, they did put slats, and they also put this funky little radar dish in the back. And this is just Formica, so old-style tabletops, MDF, some screening in here, and then fiberglass on top of the dome. So the dome is probably going to be one of the harder things to make, but there's a way, the website will show you how to make a former. Also in the workshop book, there's shows you how to make a former, how to do it on a plaster, and then do fiberglass on top. So it steps you through how to make every piece. And sometimes cost is a big deal. These are toys. These are a lot of fun. These are our cosplay. You don't want to sink a lot of money into it. Or you don't want to tell the wife you sunk money. That's probably the better key. Over here we have Dalek Clifton. Now Dalek Clifton is a new style Dalek. The NST is what we call him. He still has a plunger. They didn't change that. What do you have to say for yourself on your colors?
I happen to be based in Ottawa. You may notice it is red, gold, and black. The senators have the same colors. They decided to choose the same as me. There may be a few Montreal Canadian fans in this audience. We may disagree on the teams that we support, but we can all agree that the Leafs suck.
I spent a convention, and in this convention, we had Dalek Clifton on one side, Dalek Simon on the other. Now, Dalek Simon was a completely built of cardboard. He did the whole thing on cardboard. And it looked fantastic. It was a Genesis of the Daleks, 1974. He did a fantastic job with it. So I'm sitting here listening to Mr. Senator over here, Mr. Leaf fan over here. I'm in the middle, and these two are freaking arguing. He's still in his basement, isn't he? What, man?
Who is in the basement?
Dalek Simon.
I have no clue where he is, but his team is definitely in the basement. Where they belong.
So, if everybody has, I mean, some of you are recording this, great.
Yes, I am.
He's watching you. There's a GoPro camera in here.
Oh, awesome.
Every bit of it's being recorded. Yes, wave to Dalek. And you will be online. So, where was I for a second? Oh, the website. If you don't have, if you're not recording this, please write this down. It's www.projectdalek, dalek.co.uk. This website alone is the leader for any information on Dalek construction. On this website is the blueprints, the actual blueprints for every measurement you need to build your Dalek. There's also a workshop manual, which is the only thing you have, you don't have to. It's the only thing you'll want to purchase. That's the only cost of this. And the money from the workshop manual goes to maintain the website. So it's almost a donation. It's up to you. But I do highly recommend you purchase it. It comes from the UK, the guy who did up the manual. It shows you how to step through and build souffle. It's based on that one. Also, the majority of what's on Clifton here. So the workshop manual, and if you want to have a peruse of it, there is one downstairs at the Doctor Who booth. I brought mine. So I typically didn't need it when I ordered it for this one. There was nothing in this that fit in there. The Shawcraft Series 1, 2, and 3 are there. New style Daleks, the Dadvar's chair, the Teletubby Dalek, which we won't mention.
We do not talk about them.
Yeah, you know, I always picked on Star Wars for having the Klingons, which they never discussed in the past. Sorry. Yeah, we had the Teletubby. Sorry, I apologize. Yeah, that was embarrassing. So much for me being a geek. No, I'm a Dalek geek. How about that? We'll go with that. So all the information you need is there. There's also build diaries there. So Daleks are becoming very popular in North America now. 5 years ago, there was none. There was not a single Dalek that we knew of. 3 years ago, in Canada, there was only 2. I built this one almost 2 years ago now, last January. So this was Dalek number 3 in Canada. Now we have 9, and it's growing exponentially. You're going to see a lot. So this jump is you know, it's in Toronto this year. We had the largest gatherings of Daleks, and we actually had the largest gathering in North America of any Daleks. So you know, we did well there. We also did a Guinness World Record there, and we did have the numbers. We do have all the information. It was all submitted to Guinness. We're now waiting for Guinness to send us the reply saying, you now have a record. So we're waiting for that. Hopefully in December we'll hear from them. It'd be nice to take that away from the UK. And how many people know that Doctor Who was co-created by a Canadian? Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. So so I think it deserves to be back in Canada for that one. Awfully quiet over there, Souffle.
Pardon?
All right, guys. Let's. We've made them suffer enough. Let's bring them out. Dalek Souffle, come out.
I'll put Dalek souffle to sleep.
Yeah. In the original series, and even today, the Daleks are still built this way. The operators come out, the dome comes off, neck band, the shoulders, and the operator comes out. And usually they're 5 pounds lighter when they do come out. So in this, if we look, just run through once again. My skirt on this is aluminum. I chose aluminum. You can do fiberglass, you can do MDF, which is hardboard, or the aluminum. I chose the aluminum because that's what I'm used to working with. So for me, it was just easier to do. The shoulder section is the same as these two. It's made of wood, and then I just filled this up with foam insulation, the expanding foam, and then fiberglass over top. And then the same thing for the rings, and this is, I made the dome the same way you'll read in the manuals, and it's just straight fiberglass, awfully thick though, it's heavy. Sorry, I'm out of track today. I usually don't get this messed up. One thing about a Dalek is the BBC, when they originally started doing them, had a huge supply of 4-inch balls. Every spherical surface on a Dalek is a 4-inch hemisphere. The ice, well, in mine it's an ice hawk. That is 4-inch. All the Hemis are 4-inch. And the guns are 4-inch balls, as well as the plunger. Now in souffle, they're made of wood. And over here, it's aluminum and plastic. I covered pretty much all the construction of them that they need. You can look at it. Online is a build, for these three anyways, is a build diary. And in the UK, this being so popular since 1963, there are hundreds of Daleks over there. And those guys mostly have build diaries online. So from the day they thought of doing this to the final day, a lot of them have posted how they did it, where they went wrong, and owned up to it, which is pretty rare. Yeah. And then how they corrected and how they moved on. So there are hundreds of build diaries there. Pick a model you want. Every version is different. And then from that, you can just follow the diaries and see how they did it. Cost-wise, well, I think Clifton I think he has about $100 in his. Most of it's paint. Because he has the cardboard, he scavenged the cardboard. Sorry.
Clifton is not $100. Even my wife knows that.
I really should eat before I come to these things. That's not today. I apologize. It's been a very busy day for me. I haven't eaten, and I am a diabetic, so I'm a little frazzled. So you can go as low as $100, $150, even with cardboard. I was walking through Costco one day, and they were doing some putting out flowers and stuff, and they had this nice piece of MDF on their skid. I looked down and says, "What's that? Is that? Do you sell hardboard?" I said, "No, that's garbage." Thank you. Off I go with that. And you can scavenge a lot of what you need and make them cheaper. Or you can go inexpensive. Typically, if you purchase everything, do the fiberglass, do it exactly, then you're probably looking between $800 and $1,500 with the paint and everything. That'd be a reasonable cost. You look at some things you can source out. The domes, not that one, you made that one. That one there is it was actually taken from an original Shawcraft mold. So that one there is the exact same as what was on TV. And those are available for, I think they're about 140? Yeah, I just ordered one. I wasn't making another one, no. Inside, we have, you can make them as well.
You don't have to spend $140, you can spend even more making all the mistakes you can make your own.
Yeah, that's it. I got more than 140 in this one. Some things you do have to purchase, your electronics, this and that. These two are foot powered, the same as they were on TV. They get inside, they sit on a seat, and they pull themselves forward. So you can tell when they're really tired because when they start out, they're going really nice, straight, they're doing all sorts of neat turns and everything else. At the end of the trundle, they're lopping like this, going, "Oh, I'm dragging." So imagine yourself sitting in an office chair, pulling yourself across the curb. It gets very hard.
With a 150-pound chair.
Right.
Yeah. Dreadnought, not so much. With me in it, he's 600 pounds. I use an electric wheelchair. Kijiji is a great location. I have 6 chairs. We won't say why. I have never paid over $120 for a chair. So they are out there. They are available. Sometimes you have to search. Typically, once you find one, you end up with more. Don't know how that works, but and the one you're going to get, someone's not had a use for it and has saved it for several years. Not charged it. You're going to change the batteries. People will tell you batteries in those things are expensive. They are if you buy them through Indicare. Go to Interstate Batteries, and instead of $250 a battery, you're going to pay $65 or $70 a battery. And the batteries from Interstate are stronger. So electrifying these things doesn't have to be a huge cost. And when you're doing a long trundle, it's really nice. I've got a full chair inside. Turn him around. On this one, I've removed the controller so I can actually come outside with him. You know, I don't always have to be in him to drive. And also, the electric chairs, they are set at 4 miles an hour. That is their safety for people going up and down curves and outside and everything else. When I told the guy it's going to be used in a Dalek, he hooked up his computer to it, took out the restriction, I can get 10 miles an hour now. Okay, just so we all know, 600 pounds, 10 miles an hour. Don't jump in front of me. So here you see the electric chair inside. And I crawl in, I turn the chair around, and once again, if you can't see it right now, I will show you at the booth. I have no problem with that at all. We're all available at the booth after this for questions. I turn it around, I lift the chair up. This is an 1103 Jazzy chair. It has the ability to lift up. This, because of the size of Dreadnought and everything else, there was no other way to access him. I couldn't just open up the top and everything else. It's just too heavy and too big. And, you know, after a while, you start talking to the thing like that. You know you've been working, I built several now. You know you've been working on them a little too long when you're putting one together and you can hear them in the background. They're talking to you. I was there one time, I was building this one, and Oric was in the corner, and I'd been working for 18 hours straight on them, and all I could hear was fabricate, fabricate. I locked the door back. Took the next day off. I said, that's enough. So, once again, I'm not going to have a question session here. You know, we will talk a bit at the end, maybe. We can one-on-one answer your questions at the booth. And you'll have the three of us there. We won't talk over each other then. And we'd love to have you down there. We have the 12-foot Emperor from the 1967, Evil of the Daleks. He is the actual size. The only thing is he's not sitting on the plinth, which he was the show. And the only actor who will ever be in North America who has seen him is Fraser Hines, and he is here at the show today. So we've actually had him sign the Emperor, and we have it confirmed that it was the actual size. And it was hard because I had to take pictures, extrapolate it into a graph setup, and make all my measurements from that. So it was a bit of a chore. Same with the TARDIS. I knew the size of William Hartnell, took it in, graphed it, and I got the exact size. Some of the BBC prints on some of the props, mine. Don't know why. So, you have anything to add? I'm going to go into story time shortly.
The only thing I have to say is, if you do start building a Dalek, like don't get overwhelmed by how much work you have to do. When I started, I had no experience building anything with fiberglass, so I decided to leave the fiberglass until last. So I started in the bottom and worked out. And for me, that worked well. So by the time I got to the dome, my skills had improved. Even though I hadn't done any fiberglassing, I was confident enough that you can do it. It took me 1.5 years to complete Clifton. There were several months where I did nothing. Living in Ottawa, you can't really go outside and do sanding and fiberglassing. So I had to wait until the weather got a little bit better. So
yeah, and like he wasn't at the Senators' meetings.
But the resources that are available on projectdalek.co.uk are just amazing. There's people there who will answer your questions. There is so much information there. Basically, everything that's on here, the information I received was on that website. So even using ping pong balls inside the lights. It's a great place to go, so sign up for there. Read the diaries first, So take a look at several of the really good ones. They have some diaries pinned. So Adam ST, he's got the diary for NSTs. It's a superb thing. There's spoils all over the place. There's even one about lines on it. And I did document my failures as well as my successes. So if you screw something up, don't be discouraged. I built these boxes here twice. Because the first ones, they seemed to be okay when I put them together, they were wrong. So I started again. So just keep at it. It may take a year and a half, it may take you 6 months. But it's worth it when you get in there and you get to interact with people like you guys. It's a lot of fun.
And I was going to say, talk about your split skirt.
Oh, for ease of getting in. I was also, we were also keeping in mind that a lot of people who are illustrated may want to have a Dalek that can take part in cosplay as well. And so it just comes apart. And it's easy, you just get in and the skirt can come back together. And right now I'm just holding together the plans, but I'm going to look into getting trunk luggage catches to hold it shut for tighter.
The other factor for split skirt, it's much easier to get through a narrow doorway, like the two parts. It's much easier getting it into a smaller vehicle.
Usually it comes in a big bag.
Yeah, I don't come with minivan.
Go big or go home.
Speaking of which, transportation. And, you know, minivan's great. Even the living comes in minivan, so that works out well. We've done, the greatest thing about being a Dalek is every day in our life we deal with people, we interact with people, and we are, you know, I'm Clifton, Sidley, both very nice people. And, you know, really friendly, nice people.
Ian, Clifton's a Dalek.
Well, I know, but that's
One thing you learn with Mark is you tend to get identified with a Dalek.
Oh,
actually, everybody gets identified with a Dalek. You know, I meet people later on who I've interacted with, I always go up, hi, I'm Dalek Clifton.
I mean, you don't even use your real name half the time, so.
And that's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. So, in being that nice, the greatest thing about being a Dalek is you can be an absolute dick, and people love you. The more nasty you are, the better you are. So, if you've had a really tough day, and you put on that really nice face, how can your Dalek go driving down the street? There is satisfaction in it. I was doing it, we go to quite a few conventions. We've been busy this year too. We were at Fan Expo, and at Fan Expo, we had one of our forums, and it was on the second floor. So he only goes down a freight elevator. He doesn't fit in anything else. So I sent both these. You were at the sent both of them off to get the forum. I had to take the freight elevator, which was a different route. I didn't get a chance to actually walk it out beforehand. They just said, take that elevator, take it down to where you want. So I take it, I go down, and the guy that was supposed to be, it was his first time walking with me. We always have Dalek slaves to protect us, because we are somewhat fragile, and protect the little ones, because we can only see, I only look out through here. So my vision is very, very limited. Whereas in here, they can look out through all this, and they can see a lot better.
But the thing is, there's a lot of stuff in the way. So it's hard to see people. If little kids are in front of us, it's hard to see there. And it's also hard to judge our depth perception. So today I actually snuck up behind someone, and I was too close. And when I spoke, she jumped, and she banged into this and hurt her shoulder. So if you're in the crowd, but like, we don't intentionally come up and try to hurt people. But
yep.
It's hard to see at times, which is why we have our trusty Dalek slaves.
And if you do need to clarify something in French, you brought someone, and I apologize for not speaking French for those of you that is your primary language. I'm married to a French woman, and when she speaks French, I run. So that's the way it's always been. So anyways, I'm at Fan Expo, I go down the freight elevator, and I'm running behind, so I just take off out of the freight elevator. I'm inside, and I'm going down this hallway, and I didn't know I was on the first floor, not the second. Freight elevator doesn't stop on the second floor. Oops. So this was where they were, this poor lady, the corners went like this, a bit of a snake turn, and I was full speed. At 10 miles an hour. I was going down the alleyway, it was clear, and I just started to turn the corner, and on these electric wheelchairs, there is a reduction, speed reduction for safety. If you make a turn, it slows the chair down. So I left that safety feature on, and I just turned the corner, and I felt it slow down, and she just came out with her cart full of water and everything else, and it was a blood-curdling scream in a basement like you would never believe. And I had my voice mod on, and I had the radio jacked right up, and I scared the hell out of her. The cart in the water went over. She's screaming. Everyone in the kitchen empties out. And, they're all starting to get a little upset. They're helping her. They're looking at me. One guy pulls out his phone, starts taking pictures. I've now realized I'm on the first floor. I have to get the hell out of here. They're blocking my way, trying to take a picture. So I start screaming at them, move and everything else. And you do get into little avenues like that. It's kind of funny. We went to Dalek, which is not present here with us right now. We were invited to Rochester, and in New York. First time taking the Daleks to New York. First time across the border with them. I have a large F-250 pickup truck. It's an extended cab, the whole bed. And behind that is a 25-foot enclosed trailer. Now, I build aircraft for a living. That's my business. And my trailer is wrapped in pictures of airplanes that I built. So we get in, it's getting late at night, it's Friday night, and we get there for Saturday morning, but we were going to the hotel for the night. I roll up to the border at Buffalo, or Fort Erie. I get down there, and there's no one there. It's almost empty. There's 3 lanes open, and almost empty. So I roll in, and I roll down my window, and I've got 2 other people in with me, and he says, "Where are you going?" "Rochester." "You all Canadian?" "Yep." "What are you going to Rochester for?" I said, "Oh, we're going to go and, just go to a convention, an anime convention." "Okay, what's in your trailer?" It was one of those days where you just don't think. I just turned to him. Actually, I looked at these 2 first. I turned to him and I said, "Our costumes." He says, "I want to look in the trailer." "Not a problem." Those 2 had to stay in there. I got out, go in the back. I dropped the ramp to the back of the trailer, and he's facing out. Oryx behind him. Yeah, he was a little taken aback. It's kind of big, takes up a fair amount of room. And he's looking into the trailer. And then he's just standing there. Okay, fine. He walks out. This is not going well. But I haven't got this piece of paper that says go over there. So all of a sudden, and I look around. Open, closed, open, closed. All right, so the only lane that's open is the one I'm blocking. That's fine. 2 guards come out, customs agent, and they come out to the end of the trailer, and they're all looking in. And they're starting to ask a shitload of questions. What does this have to do with clearing customs? How it's made? So anyways, that's fine. I was going to play as long as I didn't get that little tag to say go over there. And they said, after about 10 minutes of talking, they said, "We want to go make sure there's no people inside." Okay, fine. So the 2 guys that he called over were standing on the ramp, basically facing a gun each. These are guys with guns. You know not to stand in front of guns. So anyways, we go in and I pull off Oric's head. So, and Oric's the same, very similar to the Shotcraft actually. So we pulled off the head and the guy looks in and he asks a bunch of questions. Doesn't take long to figure out there's no person in there, but let's ask questions. Fine. So then he says, I want to see inside this one. Okay. So I open up the back, and he looks, he says, what's the fire extinguisher there for? We're on our knees, by the way. Press it. I did not know border police could get that scared. It was dark, and there was moisture in the air, and using a CO2 system, when there's moisture in the air, the cloud is huge. These guys disappeared. When the cloud went away, they weren't standing where they were in the beginning. And the scream. All I did is I looked over and I said, it was your friend. They had a great time. Got out. Nice and tough now. Okay, we'll just kind of forget about that incident. And they said, that's fine, we're good. Close her up, off you go. And as I get past him, I'm looking, and there's a few cars behind me. As I go down the ramp, and the other two border guards are going over, the lineup is to the bridge. They had closed the lanes. I had blocked one. There was probably going to be another half hour to clear out the backlog. So I just get in, off I go. So it's little things like that that really make owning a Dalek a joy. And I wish that was the last border story I had. What time do we have? Okay, I got to finish. I'm going to share another border story simply because it really was priceless. I build airplanes. That's what I do for a living. Design, build, fly. At Kitchener Airport, I had my hangar, and I just went through a huge problem with this guy with going through batteries. I made a mistake in how I did the electrical system. I tried to draw one battery where I really needed to draw two because he draws so much that he killed the batteries subsequently. They just constantly drained and fried themselves. I've since put in the converter, so now I draw evenly across both batteries, and I don't have an issue until today or Friday when the converter went set on me. So anyways, I just put in 2 new batteries. I thought, well, you know, it's dark, it's after 9. Let's see how far we can go. I'm on an international airport. What can go wrong? The tower didn't recognize me. I did not get clearance. I'm driving down and I'm inside and playing music, all the lights are going, everything else. I'm having a great time. You know, there's no one on the ramp, and I'm over at the other end of the airport, so I really didn't think you'd see me. All of a sudden, security, boom! He gets out, and he walks up to the Dalek, and he starts walking around the Dalek, and, you know, looking away, and he's looking at it, and I just stopped, and I moved my eye stalk to face him, you know, I thought I was having fun. And then he says, where's the person operating this? I started talking. Security jumps as well as the border guys. But he still started looking for someone else. And that's one of the greatest things about being in a Dalek is we try not to let people know we're in there. And they do guess, they think that they are 2 units, they're looking for the guy with the remote. But when we start answering specific questions, that usually people catch on pretty quick. We just say it's a mutant. You know. So anyways, he finally figured it out that there was someone inside, and he's looking, he's going, pretty neat. I told him who I was, and he said, okay, that's fine. And they all know me quite well. I do some strange things at that airport. fly some strange aircraft too. So anyways, he said, first of all, he says, how far are you going? I said, well, I just want to see how long it takes to drain these batteries. I want to be able to get at least 4 hours, and I can tell once my meter starts going down. He says, you're going to make it over to the terminal building? Yeah, I can go that way. See you there. Off he goes. Well, that's fine. I call this clearance on the taxiway. Security just said, meet me over there. I call that clearance. I did get a note from the tower later, but that was something separate. I get over there, and once again, international airport, we do have custom agents on site. They come out and they look. The guy from security's there. They go back inside. He says, hold on, wait a minute. They go back inside, they come back out. We have an international flight coming in. Okay. He said, you want to have some fun? I'm usually good for fun. Come with us. They're inviting me today. I go in. Now, at this airport, you debark the plane and you walk down the steps from the plane onto the apron, and then you go through the door. Now, you go through the door and you make a turn, because you get to the glass wall, you make the turn, and you go into the customs area. They put me just past the turn. Okay. So, the plane lands, they empty, they have no idea. One of the customs agent is holding the door. I really have no idea how much trouble this guy's getting. The people from the States come walking in, they turn the corner, anything to declare! The first guy drops his bags, backs out! I don't know how many people he went through, but he wasn't the next one to come through. So I was having a bit of fun, and I played it up with the rest of them, and he declared, you thought your security was big? Yeah, this is Canada. We may be small, but we are mighty. Finally, one guy was a deck. There's always a deck on an airplane. He came in, nonchalant, and I'd already asked permission earlier. So he mouthed off, and he knew what a Dalek was, thank God, because as he walked by me, I turned and yelled, "Exterminate!" He ran! The wall was about that distance from him. He made it to the wall before the gas cleared. I thought, great. He was one of the last ones, so that was about the end of what I was going to play with. So, yeah, like I said, I don't know how much trouble they get into, but it was so worth it. And then I hopped out and trundled on back, and the security guard says, "Good, there you go, we got all on tape." Good, nice. Also, international airport, disembarking, barking apron. Transport Canada has it all on tape. I haven't been called yet. That was, in the spring, so yeah, I think I'm okay at the moment. So, we're almost out of time. Folks, thank you. We are at the Dr. Who Society downstairs. We don't do the question and answers simply because it gets too specific and only one can answer at a time. So downstairs, we can all talk to you. Come on down, have a chat. Thank you. One more thing. I apologize, I slipped my mind. In November, we are having another convention in Toronto, Markham. It's called Reverse Polarity, November the 1st and 3rd? 1st and 3rd. We will have a doctor at the convention. Peter Davidson will be there with us. come on down. We've got pamphlets, read up, and you can meet with the doctor.
We're also doing a cosplay photo shoot down in the foyer shortly. So once we get these guys back down there, be in the foyer, you'll should see a crowd of people dressed